Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really happy you're here because today we're diving into something that almost every English learner wants: speaking English naturally. Now, when people hear the phrase, sound natural, they sometimes think it means speaking super fast or using big, complicated words. But honestly, that's not what native speakers do in their daily conversations. Most of the time, people use simple, short, relaxed expressions. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on today: easy, everyday words and phrases that can make your English sound smoother, more confident, and more natural. So let's start by talking about what natural English actually means. Natural English isn't perfect English. It's not textbook English. It's the kind of English you hear in cafes, in movies, from friends, on the street, or in casual conversations. It's full of contractions like I'm, you're, don't, and can't. It uses simple vocabulary, but in a way that feels real and comfortable. A lot of learners stick to very formal sentences like, I do not know, or I will think about it. These sentences are correct, but they don't reflect how people really speak on a daily basis. So one of the first steps to sounding natural is to relax your language, let it flow a little more. For example, native speakers often shorten their sentences because shorter speech sounds more conversational. Instead of saying, I cannot understand what you are saying, they might say, I can't hear you, or I didn't catch that. Notice how simple those words are. Nothing complicated, but they sound natural because they fit everyday conversation. When you start using these little expressions, people will instantly feel that your English has leveled up, even though the vocabulary itself is easy. Another thing that helps you sound more natural is using expressions that show personality or emotion. Natural English isn't just about meaning, it's about tone. Let's say you want to express surprise. Instead of saying, I am very surprised, which sounds a bit stiff, you can say, no way. Or, you're kidding. These expressions are simple, but they reflect how people actually react in real conversations. And that's the key: you want your English to feel alive, not like it came from a textbook. Now, you might be wondering, how do I learn these natural expressions if they're not always in textbooks? Great question. The truth is, you learn them by listening, not just to formal English, but to the way people talk casually. Watch shows, listen to podcasts, follow English YouTubers, or even observe native speakers around you if you live in an English-speaking country. Pay attention to the phrases they use often. You'll notice patterns. Certain expressions repeat all the time, and those are the ones you want to pick up. Another thing to keep in mind is confidence. Even simple words sound natural when you say them with confidence. You don't have to speak fast, you just have to speak clearly and comfortably. A lot of learners worry about making mistakes, so they speak slowly or overthink their sentences. But real conversations move quickly, and it's completely normal to make small mistakes or change your sentence in the middle of speaking. Native speakers do it all the time. So don't pressure yourself to be perfect, aim to be real. Also, try to use contractions whenever possible. English speakers rarely say, I am going to, in daily conversation. They say, I'm gonna, or I'm going to. They don't say, I do not know, they say, I don't know. These small changes make a huge difference in how natural you sound. If you're not used to contractions, it might feel strange at first, but trust me, the more you say them, the more natural they'll feel. Finally, remember that natural English is flexible. There's not just one correct way to say something. For example, if someone asks how you're doing, you don't always have to say, I'm fine, thank you. You can say, I'm good, pretty good, not bad, or even, I'm all right. These are the kinds of responses you'll hear from native speakers all the time, and they instantly make your English sound more authentic. So today, as we go deeper into this topic, I want you to focus on small changes, simple words, natural expressions, contractions, and relaxed sentences. These are the building blocks of sounding more natural in English. You don't need to memorize long lists of advanced vocabulary. You just need to pay attention to the way English is actually spoken and practice using those patterns yourself. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. Alright, now that we've set the foundation, let's go ahead and explore some specific examples you can start using right away. Let's dive deeper into the expressions we mentioned earlier and explore more simple, everyday phrases that can instantly make your English sound more natural. The goal here isn't to replace everything you say with slang or casual expressions, but to understand how native speakers talk in normal situations and start using those patterns yourself. When your vocabulary becomes more flexible, even with simple words, you'll sound more relaxed, more fluent, and more connected to real conversational English. Let's start with the first example. Instead of saying, I will do it later, try saying, I'll do it in a bit. Now, in a bit, is such a small phrase, but it's incredibly common. When native speakers say it, it sounds casual and friendly. It's not too formal, not too serious, it's just relaxed. You can also say, give me a sec, or, just a minute, when you need a little time. Notice how all of these expressions are short and easy to say. They help the conversation flow naturally. Now think about the phrase, I am very tired. It's correct, but it feels like something you might write in a school essay or say in a formal setting. In everyday English, people usually choose something more expressive. For example, I'm exhausted, I'm worn out, I'm beat, or even, I'm dead tired. These expressions don't use difficult words, but they carry stronger feeling. They help you communicate more naturally because they sound the way people actually speak after a long, busy day. Another example is replacing, this is easy, with, this is a piece of cake. This is an idiom you'll hear all the time in movies, TV shows, and conversations. Idioms can sometimes feel intimidating, but many of them use very basic words. Piece of cake simply means something is very easy, but it adds personality to your speech. Other similar expressions might be, this is no big deal, this is simple, or, this is super easy. These versions feel much more natural than the plain sentence, this is easy. Let's go further with more examples you can use in your daily conversations. Instead of saying, I am going to leave, you can say, I'm heading out, or, I gotta go. These are everyday, natural expressions that you'll hear constantly from native speakers. If someone asks you how you are doing, you don't always need to say, I am fine, thank you. You can say, I'm good, pretty good, not bad, or even, can't complain. These sound friendly, casual, and authentic. Another useful area is responding to good news. Instead of saying, I am very happy for you, you can say, that's awesome. Or, that's great to hear. These are reactions that feel lively and natural. For bad news, instead of, that is unfortunate, you might say, that sucks, I'm sorry to hear that, or, that's rough. These are the kinds of responses friends use to show understanding or sympathy. Let's also look at how native speakers often shorten their phrases. Instead of saying, I do not know, most people say, I don't know, and often even shorter, I dunno. Instead of, I am not sure, you might hear, I'm not sure, or, I'm not really sure. These small differences might seem unimportant, but they're exactly what makes your English sound more natural. Another important point is learning how to soften your speech. Native speakers rarely speak in big, direct statements. Instead of, give me your phone, they might say, could you hand me your phone for a sec? Instead of, I need help, they might say, could you help me out? Or, can you give me a hand? These expressions use simple words, but they feel polite and natural in everyday situations. Let's talk about suggestions too. Instead of saying, you should try this restaurant, people often say, you should check out this place, or, you've gotta try this spot. Again, very simple vocabulary, but much more natural in tone. Also, native speakers use fillers, not because their English is bad, but because it makes speech sound more human. Words like, well, you know, kind of, and, like, are common in everyday talk. For example, well, I think we should go now. It was kind of expensive. It's like 5 minutes away. Using fillers too much is not good, but using them occasionally makes your English feel more real and less robotic. One more important thing. Natural English is often about choosing the simplest word, not the fanciest. Instead of purchase, say buy. Instead of assist, say help. Instead of respond, say reply or answer. Native speakers use simple words most of the time, and that's what makes conversations comfortable and clear. So, the main idea of this part is learning how to swap formal or stiff expressions for natural, everyday ones. These little changes build up over time and make your English sound more like the language people truly speak, not the language found only in textbooks. Keep listening, keep observing the expressions people use, and slowly blend them into your own speech. The more you practice these small substitutions, the more natural your English will become.